Welcome to Chesslovers Chess Channel. Chesslovers. So today it's my turn to talk about a specific theme, and those who have followed us on our channel know that I have started a series where I'm discussing what I believe are the most important chess books in chess history. And today we have the number 9th book, which is called Practical Endgame Play Beyond the Basics. As you can see, it's written by the English grandmaster Glenn Flear, and he's actually playing the British Championship, I believe, at this moment. And yesterday he drew against one of the best players in England, if not the best, Michael Adams. And I believe this is one of the most important endgame books. Do you believe me?
Yes, but I have some questions. What's so special in the book? What's outstanding in the book, for instance?
Yeah, first of all, you cannot find any similar book. I mean, the books you can find are about basic endgames. You know, with one piece, for example, rook endings, only one rook. So in this book you have, for example, double rook endings, which is a very important ending, very common in practice. And what I'm aware of, only Capablanca is the only player who has written about this relatively extensively in his fundamental books. So that is one reason. I can mention many reasons. For example, this book focuses on two pieces. So he can discuss an ending like rook and bishop versus rook and knight, rook and minor piece versus rook and minor piece. And such an ending, it will appear 15 to 20% in your games. So if you know this ending, I mean the technique, how to play, if you have model examples from real games, it will improve your chances considerably if you play against opponents who are not aware of this way of playing, this specific, very common ending.
Okay, but if you are an ordinary club player, how should you start to read the book, for instance?
Yeah, there is one problem, because you might say that before you read such a book, you must read about basic endgames, and then I can recommend books like, for example, Chiron's books in German, Ruben Fanning's Basic Chess Endings, which I have read a lot. Of course, Auerbach, famous works, and a more modern book is by Dvoretsky. Even John Nunn has written very extensively about basic endings, where he even analyzes with computers. But in my opinion, if you're a club player, it doesn't matter which of these endgame books you choose. So you must know the basic chess endings. So this is the level behind.
Yes, but there are some older masters which has written some very interesting ending books, like Vasily Smyslov, for instance, and some other players as well. But I'm just thinking of him. And of course Capablanca, yes, as you said before.
Yeah. Of course there are many, how to say, strong players, even former world champions, who have written about the endgame, but that is not the most important thing. But Capablanca, he really understood the club players' needs. So, and I have already recommended one of his books earlier in this series. But in my opinion, I have mentioned it many times, if you only study one phase of the game, it's the ending. For example, in this book, he even shows you how to mate with 2 rooks against a lone king. So this is also a book for beginners. So you need this book, and you need a fundamental endgame book.
Yeah.
Like, for example, basic chess endings.
I just remember that Paul Keres also had
he has written a book called Practical Chess Endings.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
that
also
was
a
a very
good.
important book as well.
Yeah, sure. I forgot to mention it. What I mean is, even Flear is writing about it in this book. The market is full of endgame books. That is not the problem, but that is only the first step in learning endgame. The second step is this book.
Yes.
Now this is only one book, and you can choose maybe from at least 10. Famous chess books.
In modern time, you have, for instance, Bobby Fischer. He's written about some endings in books, and Ulf Andersson has also, the Swedish grandmaster, is also very famous for endings, and there are some commentaries about his play in the endings as well.
Yeah, but the difference here is that if you want to study, Fischer's endings, you have to, for example, read his 60 memorable games, but then you also see the opening and the middle game, and of course the best thing is to play through and understand the game.
Yes.
So of course this is more, specialized chess literature, but it's the only one of its kind, and that is the reason I'm recommending it, because
this book, yes.
This kind of endgames with 2 pieces. He called it Nakis, because it's not a real endgame.
No.
It's
between endgame and middle game.
It is an endgame, but it's not a basic endgame. For example, the definition is, he called it positions with simplified material. But for example, a book like Basic Chess Endings is very much simplified. So we are still in the endgame area. But he has a special expression for this. What he's writing here. He has written like this: I have decided to concentrate my efforts on these so-called Nakis. And the definition is that Nakis is not quite an endgame, pronounced Naki. And then he means it's not quite a basic endgame. And he also have a lot of statistics. For example, as I just mentioned, rook and minor piece each. In Glenn Flear's own games, they arise in nearly 20%, but in general statistics it's around 15%. But I did a statistic analysis on my own games, and in my games they arise 22% of all games. And 22% is a very high figure. So of course you must study rook and minor piece.
Yes.
Very important. And also double rook endings. And I'm not aware of any other book who has concentrated on this specific ending. And it's a very fat book. So, yeah. For example, he has a chapter which I also have studied very thoroughly. Queen and rook versus queen and rook. And according to Spellman, this is not an endgame. It's a middle game. So yeah, it's a very interesting book. Like you said, it could be a middle game.
A middle game.
Yeah, Queen and Rook.
I heard that somebody said it's a fourth phase in the game with queens and rocks.
Yeah, exactly, because they can.
It's a fourth dimension in the middle game.
Yeah.
Instead of endgame.
That is Alekhine's definition, because
yes.
for example, in many queen endings, they can transpose to pawn endings. So we are actually dealing with 4 phases.
Yes, that's what I said.
Yeah, exactly. So if you can't get this book, then at least focus on endgames with 2 pieces. Don't forget this study area in chess if you are serious. It doesn't matter if you're a club player or elite player, because this is a neglected area. Thank you for watching our chess channel, Chesslovers.
Yes.
See you soon.
See you soon.